Okay, fuckers, we are back to this topic, revisiting slides that I put together over the winter regarding our narcissistic state of address. To be honest, back then I worried about fear-mongering, and I pulled back on releasing this project with a real sense of it's not time yet. Don't get all riled until the shit really starts flowing. P.S. You don't know anything. What if you are wrong? So now that it is time, the shit is flowing. Let's try this again. Let's talk about what we know about narcissists versus what we're seeing in the States and what we can do about it. Back to my slides, which have been shown pretty accurate. So based on what we know about narcs from all of our research, I said, expect disruption, disinformation, delusion. That's a big one. Defense and offense reversals. DARVO. Deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. There will be a common enemy created, maybe multiple, and there will be martyrdom ploys. Because remember, covert narcissism is entitlement through victimhood. And then there tends to be a grandiose kickback. But don't worry, because I'll be the savior as well. So there will be chaos, instigated to confuse and misdirect. With enough time and distance from reality, the point is to create crippling cognitive functioning conditions and loss of integrated reasoning, scattering of group efforts, overwhelming individuals, leaving people ready to give up on their resistant efforts. This will often be done through outward identification of a larger, fake, or carefully orchestrated threat or series of threats. Right. So we've seen this now. The entire police, National Guard, Marines, ICE, supposed violent riot business. It's that. ICE went into LA with insane force, making it impossible to ignore their tactics and injustices. Why? To create a protest, and then for the media to report that it was violent and dangerous, so that brute force could be sent in, creating an even bigger story, distracting us all from what else is happening, and creating false enemies. The things that are happening being the economy on the verge of collapsing, the TM bitch fest and resulting informational leaks, the Epstein files, the questionably valid election, etc. Who knows what else, because it's not being discussed. Because of this massive scene that's been created, conveniently in the liberal ass place that the 47th probably hates the most. It's a spectacle. It's meant to send a message, to be an example of what will happen if we resist. All of which is one gigantic case of Darvo. He's defending the country against violence and unrest. ICE is the victim. The police are just doing their honorable jobs. Thank God we have the savior sending in troops. And thank God for the entire anti-immigration policy, because the real dangerous people, of course, are the brown ones, who we're being defended from with these inhumane deportations. Boom. Here's our first major example of what will likely continue to happen. False enemies, fake angels, orchestrated stories, and intensifying force to deter counter movements. So, real steps that we can take. Of course, we all know, cynically disregard mass news. And also know that your social media is not the whole picture. Hey, I have a friend who only ever tells me outright lies. Lies that they directly profit from financially. Meanwhile, they distract me from what's really happening, purposely, with chaotic interjections of destructive situations that they intentionally create. Right. Stop with the mainstream news. It's not real. What they report on is paranoia creating intentional sucks to sell ad time and maintain their corporate ties. I'm sure you're also hearing about journalists being fired for reporting oppositional messages per their networks. Yeah, we're in a propaganda state. Across the board. Also, one that might not be as widely known, information is wiped from direct searches so that you can't skip NBC and rely on Google instead. Back in 2022, I found that out when attending Roe v. Wade rallies because it became near impossible because we couldn't find the rallies, because we couldn't find the posts telling us where they were taking place. Now, the posts existed. The protests did too. Google, Reddit, and Instagram, however, were not producing them when we searched, thus diminishing numbers and awareness of the protests. And tech has only moved more quickly in that direction. We are on the edge of deep fake central when we literally are not in control of the information that we receive, and we will not know what is consensus reality anymore per stories and images. Identify who you can trust in your real world environment. Create those relationships. Join an already existing movement. And then spread the word in that community through direct means like emails and texts for now. And beware of relying on social media or search engine algorithms to share the information. And big news, if anything, of course, the BBC. Reddit also has some outsider posts that are generally vetted by other users before you get to them. And the on-the-ground citizen reporting there helps also. And I can also recommend joining a newsletter, one that's independently reported. Then you can control when and how you engage with the overwhelm. I follow one. It's called Gov Brief Today. It sends you a nightly email with quick rundowns of, as far as I can tell, real source-cited news. Check it out. Another step to take is to stop fighting with the magists. Yeah, they're idiots, but it's sincerely not tackling the source of the problem to even think about them, let alone bicker with them online. Here's the thing. The NARC has only gotten this far with support because they are not capable of facing or enduring obstacles. They aren't intelligent enough, applicably, to overcome true opposition or achieve very much for very long on their own. So we're led to believe that support for the NARC in power has come from below. That way we can all blame each other and skirmish about where we're at, while the NARC support actually comes from above. We didn't do this. The children in the home of the narcissist don't create the narcissist. People above or equal to the narcissist enable their development and their reigning power. The parents and partners and colleagues of the narc. In other words, he's there in that position because he has been allowed there from equals and upwards, and not because we put him there. This isn't your neighbor's fault. Narcissists are not effective individually, and they also do not ride on the shoulders of people that they consider below them. The plebeians do not uprise them. They want to be good boys and girls according to the people that their childish mentalities assess as adults. People that they, in some fucked up narky way, look up to or consider valid, at least. So, while we absolutely have big threats to our safety being made from the loudmouth idiots with guns who are cheerleading fascism, I mean, let's consider the evidence that we're all watching a play within a play, and we are all audience members. The monkey we're allowed to see sitting in the director's seat is quite a spectacle to upset everything, so that a whole different production can take place without anyone looking or seeing it. So The audience members who are cheering him on, they aren't the real enemies. Their ticket purchase is not really funding this production. They're just the gullible onlookers who forgot that they're watching a piece of fiction. The wealthy patrons with stakes in the theater profits are the string-pulling people to target. So save your energy. We might need it when push comes to shove with naive, insecure, paranoid, white supremacists later. And we definitely will need it for the billionaires. Also, I recommend conserve energy and stay under the radar until the time is right. Play along when it's not allowing harm to others on the surface. We're not going into follow orders territory. Do not allow injustice or harm. Please do stand up for people, but don't call unwelcome attention to yourself in stupid ways with limited return. This is a long game. And remember, narcs are easy to mislead. They want everyone to want to follow them, and they'll see what they care to. So be smart about what you put your life on the line for. There is power in group action. As it swells, add to the uprising. But I don't recommend being the lone screamer standing on a street corner, losing your voice, tearing up your vocal cords, getting disheartened and exhausted, and also landing yourself on a list so you can't add to the crowds chanting later. Find strength in your group, in your community. Take action together. Keep your head down when the axe is swinging and you are the lone whack-a-mole. It's not a hard game at that point. And lastly, for today, I recommend remembering teenagerdom. Okay, here's the thing. You know who was a terror to live with? Who dominated lives, fed us lies, played on our fears, and used others for personal support? The NARC nucleus of many of our families. I think actually most of us have one. They just present differently. And you know how we got through it? Or back up. I'll speak for myself. You know how I got through it? In defiance that we couldn't express safely. We turned into shithead teenagers who didn't give a single dump about pleasing those people beyond the most surface level rules that we pretended to follow. Instead of desiring real peace and harmony with the people who fucked with us, we prioritized letting them believe that we were on their side, and then letting them upset themselves with targeted but impossible to pinpoint input from us based on the ways that they couldn't control their own shit. In my house growing up, it was easy to push the buttons of the NARC because their explosions told us exactly what their weaknesses were. If you wanted a peaceful day, you pretended to be a certain way. And when you were ready to create a distraction or disruption, you just left some fucking crumbs on the counter, let them freak out, and then left to go to work, knowing that their day was ruined. Or my brothers and I came together in brief moments of unity to topple the shared enemy, switching out coffee with decaf, ganging up with pokes at specific neuroticisms, helping each other to escape from tirades, etc. We also tapped in our friends so we could group laugh about the imbecilic attempts at maintaining control of beings who were outsmarting, and more so, out feeling them, because we had not material or militaristic resources, but energetic, creative, social, and I would say spiritual resources through not being a part of that reigning party trying to control everyone. It opens up a lot of resources through having connection, through having broader, more grounded in reality thoughts, and the ability to have feelings, which gives you the ability to see through the ploys. And through having humor, we survived. When they got harder on us, we could get easier on ourselves, turning to passive aggression, if nothing else, allowing balls that were placed in our courts to drop, and to self-care instead, messing up the system, which they then vigilantly wasted their time trying to monitor and rewrite. Well, we tended to our own dealings and worked around their blind spots. We expressed ourselves, it drove them crazy. We put pals first, it disempowered them. We taunted, subtly. They took the bait, obviously, and tumbled themselves. We maliciously complied. Their poorly planned and patched together systems fell apart. We laughed, no matter what punishment they peddled, and quietly worked around it, still free within ourselves, even if stuck in a bedroom, realizing that they could never control all of us, especially if we chose our timing carefully, especially if we didn't let ourselves be broken. And not to speak for everyone, but had a great time. Feel like in some ways, I was my wisest and most free when I was my dumbest and most entrapped, because psychologically and emotionally, I could see it all, and I could respond my teenager years. Life was definitely the most fun having a known shithead, or several, to sneak around, and a community of folks who helped me to do it. Well, they did a lot of the same in their own NARC unit. So I advise, rather than estimating you're an adult, attempting to reason through things with a gaggle of militarized adults in a mature and adult manner, because only one side is playing by those rules. Remember being a teenager. Or pretend you're my brand of teenager if you have regrets about your own adolescence. Yeah, still getting straight A's, taking college courses even, working 35 hours a week. But outside of those survival tactics, finding the pure joy in being a precocious little punker asswipe and have fun with it. We don't have to lose the magic in life, the spark around us or in us. We don't have to get so serious that we stop seeking ways to experience being here. We don't have to let oppression be debilitating depression or demoralization, loss of faith, relational destruction, or self-abandonment. These don't have to be our permanent responses. That is what the NARC wants. That is what they rely on. And we know from dealing with them before, interpersonally, and probably in our careers, exactly how to support ourselves and stay connected to others. We know how. Play fake like them. Support yourself and keep living in reality. While the very act of it, of resistance through self and community care, and music and creation and humor, does exactly unto them what they attempted to do unto you. It destabilizes them. It takes away their control, and their escalating, frantic, failing tactics collapse their inner and outer structures, degrading and diminishing the utility that they could offer to their equals and higher ups, getting them dropped by the people who were on their side. Enablers. And from there, they find out how much power they ever had. They find out they were just pawns in someone else's game, now excommunicated from the false control and popularity, eventually leaving them without even those naive audience members, with no one but them damn selves. The worst enemy of the narcissist, the reason for all their outward aggressions, their insecure sense of self, which then, without an outside target, leaves the aggression to be turned inwards towards intimate circles and their own beings. So let's not forget what we knew and still know deep inside. We know their weaknesses through the things they scream about. We know that they need from us things for their plans to work out, based on all of the house rulings. We know that they have very little control or mastery over their brains and emotions, and that creates buttons to be pushed. And the resulting actions we knew and know would be perhaps disastrous, but disasters can have utility for us too. Oh no, guess we're not going to Grandma's today because Dad just punched through the wall and drove to the bar. He'll be fighting with Mom when he gets home. See you in the basement, gathered round the N64. And we knew that the way out was to get through it safely with our trustworthy companions, arm in arm, without being detected as so fucking over it, over you, and never playing along with spirit to spare. By keeping our eye on the ongoing prize, we can get through. We just have to endure without losing our desire to live free, without forgetting that life has only just begun, without disconnection from our friends, or forgetting the reasons that we look forward to sunshine and raindrops and warmth and splashing clear water and stars. The things we love. The things that bring us here, back to ourselves, even now. We know what we're up against. It's on a larger scale than before, but that might just make the giant easier to tumble while we skank at its feet, arms aloft, scraping our voices against stars. And that's what I have to say about NARC research, response, resistance, and recovery. Remember your teenagerdom, or if you need to, take some of mine. Cheers, fuckers. I'll talk to you soon.